2022 Viterra Championship. I'm proud to say that this is our 6th year as title sponsor of this premier event, which showcases the amazing curling talent we have across our province. We've been treated to some excellent curling in the past, and I have no doubt that this year's tournament will be just as exciting and competitive. All the teams competing in this year's Viterra Championship have worked hard for the right to represent their communities. They're great examples of the determination and teamwork necessary to perform at a high level, and their pursuit of excellence is inspirational. I would like again to take this opportunity to recognize Craig Baker and his team at Curl Manitoba for the great work that they do year-round to support local curling and to help thrive in the province. Also, a big thank you to the dedicated crew of volunteers who work very hard to ensure that this tournament is engaging each and every year. And on behalf of everyone here at Viterra, congratulations to our curlers who will be competing this week. All of you have worked hard to get here, and we wish you the best of luck as you compete to earn the spot at the Brier in Lethbridge next month and continue the long tradition of curling excellence we have in Manitoba. To all the fans, I hope you cheer hard and enjoy what promises to be an excellent event. Thank you.
Of a Sports Hall of Fame in Sport Manitoba, and I'll be joined today by the venerable Resby Coots. Resby, say hello to the folks.
Yeah, good afternoon. We had the first game earlier today, if you were with us, a game between Ryan Weave and Jack Hickaway. That one got away pretty early on the Hickaway team, but I think we can anticipate a fair bit different kind of game here with the game between William Lyburn and Kelly Marnock, two well-known competitive teams here in Manitoba.
A couple of veteran teams, William Lyburn from the Granite, of course, Kelly Marnock from Carberry, and maybe we could go over the lineup a little bit and find out who's throwing in what order today. William Lyburn's team. William is the skip. Scott McDonald at third. Throwing second stones is Kennedy Bird. Wade Ford at lead. And the fifth is Spencer McEwen. Team Marnock, skipped by Kelly Marnock, of course, has Bart Witherspoon throwing fourth stones, I understand, Resby?
That's correct. They've been their pattern for years.
Okay, and Kelly Marnock is throwing third stones. Brandon Jorgensen is second. Dean Smith is lead, with Justin Reischek as the fifth, and Coach Rob Van Comer.
So we're into second stones. A bit routine, as you guess, a bit of a feeling out exercise as they begin to get a feel for the ice. But Marnock made that nice hit and roll over behind the corner guard, and William Lyburn has played to it with his second county bird.
A little bit of a bump and bounce, but a nice shot overall. 5-rock rule in effect for all of these things. For those that know a little less about curling like myself, Resby, how much different does the game with 5 rocks in play?
Oh, it's pretty much the standard across the board now. These guys have played it a lot, so they don't even think about that in context of being different from what they used to be accustomed to, and now it's just standard. And in truth, they don't like to hit until later in the end. What you quite often see so many rocks in play now, and Curl Manitoba, Curling Canada ice maker Greg Owasco has made the ice here in the Selkirk Curling Club, and while it may not be perfect to the kind of standards you might get in an arena, it's very, very good, and we're going to see a lot of action on the ice.
That was one of the things I was going to ask you, Resby, is watching some of these better known name teams that have some experience in the arena, how much of an advantage is it for some of the teams that don't get into an arena very often to be curling here in Selkirk Curling Club?
I don't think they'll find enough difference that it really would impede the better teams. These guys have played a fair bit, and they know what's going on, and then this ice approximates arena conditions, so they're going to be fine.
Excellent. Just wanted to let you know that today's sponsor is Sunrise Credit Union, building a brighter future together. Thanks to Sunrise Credit Union. What's he looking for now, Risby?
Well, the Marnik team's in a bit of trouble. They're throwing red, and they had to throw first yellow. William Lyburn has the hammer. He's got that shot stone in front of the Marnik stone. He's got that biter on the front of the ring. So Marnik is looking now at trying to minimize the situation. He'll play hit, and even if he kills his own nose hit over here, will force Lyburn to go out to the wing to play a hit. And as we mentioned earlier, Marnik, of course, throwing third. He calls the game, but throws third.
Right. And hammer conversion is key, of course, trying to get your 2 points at least.
So he does. He gets that stick that he wanted over there at the wings, hoping, of course, that Lyburn rolls out. Lyburn will try to hit on the nose and get a pair well separated, and if he can hit over here, he should be well set to pick up a pair with hammer on this first hand.
Okay. Outside pretty far on the ice right now. That affect the slide path at all?
No, it's all brand new ice.
Brand new ice.
He does get that stick. He'd seen Marnik throw one down there. So.
It's amazing what they can do with the sweeping to hold line and everything nowadays. 2 yellow, counting in the 12-foot.
Again, Kelly Marnik throwing. This will be his second shot of the end, and he'll be looking at playing a skinny hit on that top ring, a rock, hoping to roll across and move them both from play.
Working hard to hold that line. And a nice shot.
Nice double kill, opens the end. One of the things we'll need to watch over this end, this is, to the best of my knowledge, the first real game situation that William Lyburn and Scott McDonald have been able to play in. Scott McDonald, of course, from Ontario, has come in as designated import into the Lyburn team, but I don't believe they've certainly practiced together. The original intent for the team was that their first games would have been to play together in the Manitoba Open to get them a whole bunch of games in a very short time so that William and Scott could get an idea of how each other thinks, how each other throws, that sort of thing. And of course, with the Manitoba Open being cancelled, the opportunity didn't exist to play the games, but Scott did come in for the weekend, and they spent the weekend practicing. So they've seen each other throw a lot, and they've talked about how they want to play the game and how they're going to work together.
So they're learning on the fly. Scott McDonald does look familiar. Who did he curl for with Ontario? Do you know?
Well, he has in fact represented Ontario in the Brier. Was part of the team in Ontario that formed up, but then he was the odd man out, and that group ended up going to the trials and doing very well. The Van Butte team is the way they were identified.
Yeah. We're looking at last shot skip stones here to try and blank the end.
For Will Lyburn's first shot, actually. There's last skip rocks to come after this.
Okay.
I in fact had lost track of it along with
There
you,
you go.
Rick. I wasn't sure until we got the picture shot to show us
go.
those 2 rocks sitting back there at the home end.
And he's keeping it wide open, though, eh?
Yeah, this once Marnock made the double kill, this turned into a blank, or at least a desire for blank, so they could take Hammer to the next end.
Yeah. William Liburn's an interesting character. He was born in Dunfree, Scotland, and won the 1992 World Junior title with his brother Alan, I understand.
Well, I think Alan would say that Alan won the World Junior, or played in the World Juniors for Scotland, and William was along for the ride. But we'll go with it as
punch the ticket. Yeah.
As William went to the Worlds and took Alan along.
And Alan was on Rob Fowler's team in 2012 that won the Manitoba title and went to Tim Hortons. And I think he was the 5th William on that team, if I
believe he was, yeah. The Liburn family came to Western Manitoba quite a long time ago now and became a very...
Dean Smith will be shooting lead stones for Marnock. Of course, was Liburn's shot. Liburn rink with their shot down the ice.
There's a center guard in play just short of the rings, and a red Marnock stone behind it, and that was the second of Liburn's lead stones that just drew to the edge of the 4-foot, somewhat behind the guard and cornered on the red Marnock stone.
You can see quite a bit of that rock. He's throwing up another guard.
These teams at the level that, for sure, William Liburn, but also the level that Kelly Marnock plays at, are not the least bit intimidated by having a lot of rocks in play in the center of the rings and in the center centerline guards. That in part is a bit of a spin-off from watching all the mixed doubles competition that we've seen in recent years, where all of the play is in the center of the rings, and it's overflowed a bit into the fours game as well.
And that's because they start rocks in certain positions in that game?
Well, that's right, yeah. And they start with a rock in play at the back of the rings and a guard, and the first shot of each end, the first actual shot, is made with 2 rocks already in play, and all the action is to the center, just as we're actually seeing here. And Liburn making that little tap to promote his own stone to the button.
And it's shot rock now. Line 1 and 3.
We've got our overhead camera shot working now.
That's excellent.
But with those 2 Liburn stones in the center of the rings, Marnock's going to want to remove the 2 high center guard, or the high center guard for sure, but he wouldn't be unhappy to rip them both off.
Clips that out and opens it up. He's looking to drive that back, ideally, onto the yellow stone.
He may have
if he
been,
could.
although if he ran it across the face of the yellow, he might have run it straight in onto his own stone. So he may have been simply thinking about peeling that high guard.
Mm-hmm.
Liburn will look to replace that high guard.
Bringing this one a little deeper, trying to keep the line.
Yeah, he would have wanted to be just a little bit out. He would have wanted a little cornered behind that center guard. But
was that a matter of plan B in motion?
He has left Marnik the opportunity to play a hit, roll to the outside edge as he shows there, remove a pair of yellows from the forefoot.
I want Resby to try the telestrator here, but it's holding off a little bit.
We don't have the courage yet.
Marnik calling the line. Touches two and changes it up, and
didn't curl up as much as he wanted, so he got the jam, left that Lyburn stone in the forefoot circle, and has left Lyburn an opportunity for a possible double kill, certainly a hit and roll to the forefoot, but he should it's a nice angle for the double kill there.
Scott McDonald throwing third stones now for Lyburn.
Needs to make contact with the center line side of that Marnik stone. He'll get the inside roll.
Very nice shot.
And does push it, not quite to the position where he's third shot, but he's got two in the forefoot circle. Excellent shot.
Lying 1, 2, and 4. What are Marnok's options here? He's looking for freeze or hit and roll over?
No, he'll be looking at hit and roll. His rock is wide open. He can hit and roll pretty much to the button, dead behind the 3 yellow stones.
This is Marnok throwing.
Was that a question?
Yes, third stones.
Yes, it was. Got the outside of that rock and rolled away.
Rolled on the other side, yep.
Certainly not what he was hoping.
Bit of a missed opportunity there.
Yeah, he needed to get that inside roll. Considering two options, he walked out there as have to consider a long guard, set up a long guard and try to force the draw to the forefoot by Marnik for a single, but now he's elected to remove that rock, hopefully to sit 3.
Is Lyburn thinking steal instead of force right now? Or?
Well, he's setting himself up to see what happens with skip stones and with any luck at all. If he's got Marnik facing 3, Marnik is a difficult choice. Does he go behind those 3 lined up on the center line into the back of the forefoot and hope for a miss by Lyburn, or does he play hit and roll, possibly to roll out?
It's good sweeping on that play.
William wouldn't have wanted to roll that one to the edge of the forefoot. It makes Marnok's hit and roll to the center line a
lot easier. Yep.
But even with the perfect hit and roll, he's going to be in the back of the forefoot behind the button, and he's going to leave William the opportunity to draw to it.
Come down on top of it.
Come down on top of it.
Because he'll be behind the tee line. Bit of a nose.
And again, the mistake he needed more of that nose the first time. This time he didn't get the curl he was looking for.
First game for both these rinks, so a little bit of reading the ice.
Yeah, it's the preliminary round, the first round in their first game, and they would have come in wondering what differences there might be between arena ice conditions and the situation here in the curling club. They had practice opportunity yesterday, so they would have had an opportunity to get a general feel.
Right.
But I'm not sure which sheet they played on. They may not have practiced on this sheet, so they have to learn this specific ice as well.
So what options are William Lyburn discussing right now with McDonald?
Well, Scott McDonald showed early the roll behind to the button or roll right across into the wide 12-foot. William now looks like he's actually going to try to hit and roll back out to the left in the 12-foot circle. Their concern would be that if they don't make the roll behind perfectly, they actually give...
They gift wrap him that other opportunity that he just had.
They give that bit of backing for Bart Witherspoon to draw to. I think they'd like to leave a dead draw without backing for Witherspoon with his last rock. Bart is a very fine curler, but much more a hitter than a drawer in the big picture. So I think Williams' logic, knowing Bart over many years, would like Bart to have to draw with his last shot.
It's looking like it's going to hit and roll a bit too much. And out the side it goes.
William wouldn't be too bothered by that. He would rather that than hit on the nose or leave backing behind the rings.
Not the worst case scenario by any means, yeah. Rick Brownlee here. I'm calling with Resby Coots, and Resby called this morning's game, and 4 o'clock draw. I'll be joined by Pat Carson of Fort Rouge fame, and also in the evening draw later on today. But just wanted to thank you for letting me sit on this one, Resby, and get my feet wet and learn the ropes.
Well, it's fun to do, and I will confess that it's a little easier task with two people than one. Those who know me know I don't mind talking incessantly, but occasionally you just need a break. So this is the Bart Witherspoon draw that William wanted him to play.
Right. Starting to come now. A little bit of finish, right to the button, but 3/4 of the rock exposed.
Yeah, half, 3/4 open, and an opportunity. Lyburn will hit, roll back out wide open, and say to Bart, okay, if you can make that same shot twice in a row,
you get
good
the one.
For you, you get your one.
He gets the hammer back, yeah.
But it is the force that Lyburn would have wanted from the outset of, if he couldn't steal, you certainly want to force one, get the hammer back, play in the third end.
Right. Here at the 2022 Viterra and Dynasty Curling, a proud partner of Curl Manitoba and the official uniform supplier of Curling Canada. Build your own dynasty.
Final shot of the second end, Williams' final shot as he tries to curl up and get that tap.
It was a nice shot. Would have liked to roll a little bit more than that, perhaps?
Would have liked to. He's left Bart the shot that Bart would like to play. He would like to play the hit.
Hit's easier than the draw all the time, yep.
So he'll play hit, roll to the button.
Just so folks know listening in that my curling experience is extremely limited. I'm a fan of the game. I married into the game when my wife, Janice Benedictson, introduced me to the game. That was one of our first dates at the 1998 Brier. And I do love the game and am learning it, and I appreciate Resby being here to help explain it to me.
So all the obvious comments about your relationship getting off to a rocky start and all that sort of thing would not in any way apply.
No, no.
So Marnik, Bart Witherspoon gets the hit and roll to the button and takes a single point for a 1-1 tie, and they'll go to the third end, and we'll have that third end for you momentarily.
Thank you.
At Viterra, we believe in the power of connection. Our world-leading agriculture network connects producers and consumers to supply top-quality food ingredients each and every day. Our team takes great pride in working closely with farmers to help feed the world. It's something we've been doing for over 100 years. And as an industry leader, we're dedicated to playing a critical role in meeting the needs of a growing world. Because together, we're stronger and achieve more.
We're back live at the 2022 Viterra Provincial Championship on behalf of Curl Manitoba. Thank you for joining us today. Rick Brownlee here with Resby Coots on the color commentator. And starting off the third end, Resby.
Yeah, and the predictable first shot by Marnik. They just got the single, forced to take one, facing three. Witherspoon with the hit and roll to the button for the one, and so the obvious shot is to for the Marnock team from Carberry to play the center guard and try to get play going in the center of the rings where they can try to set up a steal.
Of course, Kelly Marnock from Carberry, William Lyburn from the Granite. And, the Granite is the mother club, founded in 1880, and the current building is constructed in 1912. There's a lot of history at the Granite, Resby. Names like Bronstein and Duguid, Turnbull, Wood.
Sam Harstone, who won the very first MCA Bonspiel in 1889, and all kinds of names since then. Granite and Carberry, in fact, were two of the 7 clubs that formed the Manitoba Curling Association, or more correctly at that time, the Manitoba branch of the Royal Caledonian Curling Club. I actually was reading some old newspapers recently, doing some research for the Curling Hall of Fame, and came upon the clipping from December 1 of 1888 in the Manitoba Daily Free Press, in which the report indicated that the Granite and Thistle had invited 5 rural clubs to visit or to attend a meeting that night with the purpose of forming the association.
Wow.
It was interesting, and for the first time I came to understand that the clubs invited, or expected to attend was the wording, were Verdun and Brandon and Carberry and Portage and Stony Mountain. That was listed as expected to attend the 7 teams.
Right.
The report in the paper the next day reported, with no indication of why, but Verdun and Brandon did not attend. Carberry, Portage, and Stony Mountain did attend, and Stonewall and Morden also attended. So for one reason or another, they weren't expected to attend. They did show up, but Verdun and Brandon did not. One anticipates that that was probably simply distance more than anything else. They would have been traveling by train and would have needed a couple of days of travel time to make that meeting happen. But that was what happened.
Own rocks.
Well, yeah, well, not for the meeting they didn't,
okay.
but they had to bring their own pencils, I presume.
Okay.
So
we have 2 of the oldest clubs in
two of
action
the clubs that formed the association are represented here on this ice.
Nice draw undercover into the 8-foot there.
The Curl Manitoba online raffle was available. There will be a draw on Saturday night. There's going to be 2 here throughout the Viterra Championship. You can get your tickets electronically at fundingchange.ca/Curl Manitoba, and there'll be a draw Saturday night, and there'll be a final draw on Sunday night. A pair of online fundraiser draws for 50-50s.
Always exciting to get in on the 50-50 action. And we're here in the third end, 1-1 tie between Marnock of Carberry and Lyburn from the Granite. Working hard to bring this one and drag it in.
I'll remind you on that overhead shot, there is a red guard on the center line. There, you can see it in that shot. And they had tried to go fully behind, about half open. Marnock is behind two center line rocks.
Just halfway.
This is Bird throwing his last stone.
It is the second lead stone. Second stone. Sorry about that.
Up there.
There we've got a few more rocks in play in the rings than are indicated by our red and yellow dots at the top of the sheet, or at the top of the screen.
My apologies.
Nice shot. Really good.
2 yellows in the ring for Liburn. Brandon Jorgensen with the delivery. Jump on this one hard.
A little light on that one, over curled more than he would have wanted to. He would have really been trying to get behind that yellow rock again.
Right.
Liburn sensing an opportunity. He'll draw to that red, try to leave it locked on the yellow behind, but he'll have himself in a position where with the next shot he might get himself set up for 2 or 3.
Top 12. Now we gotta be short. Let me know. Switch. Can for weight. Can for weight. Can for weight.
Kennedy Bird shot coming in.
That's okay. I just didn't want to switch it and lose it.
He wanted to get that rock a little bit cornered on the red.
Set up a little bit more of an angle.
I don't mind that.
Well, this
I thought we were too.
opportunity exists now to, again, remember there's a guard out there.
Even there, like, they can't do anything with
He'll
the
be attempting, this is Marnock. He'll be attempting to move those 2 yellows around, and if he had gotten the first, or that yellow cornered on the red, he wouldn't have been able to get to the second yellow.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, that's why if we go the other way, we could, if we hit on the nose, the yellow's bumped open.
Kelly Marnock throws 3rd stones for his team. Bart Witherspoon throwing the 4th stones.
But that guard was a little too good, so they are playing the draw. Wanted a little bit more curl. This leaves William with the opportunity again to hit. And he'll try to roll to the open side.
Covering half the V for the Viterra. Makes you want a cheeseburger, doesn't it, Chris?
Yeah, we're located here on the main floor level of the Selkirk Curling Club, and the canteen is doing a good business. And the gentleman who's calling out the orders ready is got a voice that maybe we want to bring him in and help with the broadcast.
Good. And aroma isn't enough. We got to have him barking out cheeseburger at us, making us salivate here. I'm sure the food here at Selkirk Curling Club is excellent. Scott McDonald now delivering.
Yeah.
Team Liburn.
Hard! Hard! straight brush.
Skinnies that one by.
Well, I guess in the end, based on the ice they took and the weight they threw, that they were trying to get the inside roll into the forefoot, but didn't accomplish that. They've left themselves pretty much wide open. And Kelly Marnock will be looking to follow the Scott McDonald shot and hope to get an inside roll if he comes that way, but he is looking at
Checking angles.
checking angles, looking at a hit on red.
Yeah, I make sure I make myself even.
If he can contact the red, he'll certainly kill the 2 yellows that are at the top of the 8-foot circle. His question is whether or not this rock comes across here.
Nice.
If that happens, maybe we go over here. So.
And I knew I did it, so I got him on it early. I joked, I said, that's what they say in the book, right?
The telestrator works. Good job, Resby.
But he said I owed him one, or he owed me one from 2 shots ago. So.
Is he going to be throwing this with some weight, or?
Made sure to cash that in early.
Well, he's gone, after looking at that angle on that possible quad hit, he's actually gone to a draw.
Yeah.
He'll draw to the face of the Liburn stone in the 4-foot circle. Now he's in a situation where he needs to cut down this end, try to force the single point, and an attempt to hit and roll behind center, if it didn't work out, leaves Liburn the opportunity to bring 3 or 4 into play. So draw to the top of the 4-foot circle.
With the stick curling, I'd have thrown it down hard and let God sort him out, and I'd have been
Exactly.
in all sorts of trouble.
So he was hoping to get to top of the 4-foot, maybe to the face of that rock in the 4-foot circle, but comes up a little bit light. Certainly a rock that they can use next time.
Yep.
But it is wide open. There is a guard out about here behind the score sheet.
Almost right under the Viterra Championship logo. Yep.
There's the guard just right there.
Yeah. So is he looking to skinny this past his own?
Past the guard, tap that red out. That red is a rock that Bart Witherspoon can promote to remove shot rock and be buried. So he just comes by, tap that red out.
He does catch on the back though, and
catches on the back, but yellow lies 3.
Does it touch the yellow before it goes? Maybe. Fuck.
Now it's the question of what happens here.
A hair more, a hair less.
Will this rock come off the yellow?
Sorry, Willie. Yeah, I liked it.
If it does, will it come off the yellow and jam here?
No.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Or will it come off the yellow and come in here?
I didn't want to throw too much weight in the spot and then we can't manage it, but.
Regardless, Marnock has to try and at least sit second stone, doesn't he?
Well, certainly. I think he's quite confident that if nothing else, he comes here, removes this one goes. So this yellow rock here is the only one left in play.
Wide open, yeah.
The quads here. Oh, he makes it, we draw it on the center.
Bart Witherspoon with the delivery.
But was I wrong?
That's exactly how you drew it up, Resby.
Well, not quite, guys. To be honest, I had this one left. I'm a little surprised by that combination of action, but it leaves Liburn with an open shot to that red in the back of the rings for a 3.
We could get there first.
Skip stones.
You know what, and if we tick off,
2 shots left each.
2 shots left to come.
Risking running into that. You know, this is not an easy turn to spot that rock perfect. They've thrown it 5 times.
So that's what we're looking at. The combination of hits on that previous one. This one here, I'm surprised that it stayed. It looked to me like it should not have gone, but or it should have gone, but it didn't, and he got the drive straight through to take the 2 out of the 4-foot circle.
Right.
Is he drawing against 3 though?
Everything's lying out in the 12-foot pretty much, except that top one, yellow on the 8-foot.
So now their conversation is, what is Kelly Marnick going to do?
Okay, I like it.
And there's the chess game when it comes to curling. Eh? It's not just what you're doing, it's what your opponent is doing 2-3 shots ahead.
A little more than that for board I like. I think
I'd like to try and feel board weight, if you know what I mean.
I agree, and I think they can hold it and then they can curl on the spot. Okay.
You like that?
Yep.
Today's sponsor is the Sunrise Credit Union, building a brighter future together.
Okay.
Board weight.
So Liburn goes to the hack. Liburn has 2 rocks to come. Marnick has 1 to come.
Of course, Liburn has the hammer, so.
Whoa! Yes!
Looking at a possible 2 or 3 here.
Whoa!
He is going to play down to that
Close, yes! Yes!
red rock on the outside edge of the 12-foot, back 12-foot.
Back 12,
Tap
yep.
it out to lie 3.
Yeah, you gotta go, you gotta go, you gotta go!
He's on it. He'd stick around.
Hits and rolls away. And another unforced error, giving
Lost opportunity.
lost opportunity, as you say, and now we're looking at a hit and roll for Bart Witherspoon to save the end.
Stop curling. Really nice throw.
I was just an inch full. I was just taking, making sure.
It looked like it was always getting there.
So when you talked about the Mother Club and the Granite and Hearthstone curling and that, you didn't, I thought for a second there you were going to talk about curling against him, but
No, I didn't.
not quite that far back,
not that quite.
1880s. When did you start curling?
I started 67 years ago.
67 years
And
ago.
I was
Wow.
6, 7 years old in 1956. Witherspoon, the hit, the roll, he doesn't get.
He's a wide open
Complete
draw
roll.
for 2.
You got it.
So it just leaves a straight draw. We used to call these free draws, but then somebody said they're not free.
Nope.
By any means, you have to make them. The situation here is pretty simple, though. Liburn simply has to get, if he makes contact on his own yellow rock in the top of the 8-foot circle, he will be second shot stone. So he's looking for a draw to the 8-foot. He's looking for a draw to the 4-foot, draw to the button, because later in the game he's going to need that shot. So he wants to know that he's already made it.
Any white or red paint will do, though.
Line's good. Line's good.
Just keeping it clean, not really laying a broom to
Throw him a
it.
good one, guys, if you can. Okay. Good shot.
And it looks like William Liburn has his draw weight down nicely.
Yeah, that's good enough for that shot. He won't be pleased. He would have liked to have been on the above the tee line onto the button, just to know exactly what that draw shot is going to be like later in the
In
game
case
if
he
he
needs
needs
it,
it.
have it in his bag. So 2 scored for Liburn at the end of the 3rd. It's 3-1 Liburn over Marnock. We'll be back right after this.
At Viterra, we believe in the power of connection. Our world-leading agriculture network connects producers and consumers to supply top-quality food ingredients each and every day. Our team takes great pride in working closely with farmers to help feed the world. It's something we've been doing for over 100 years. And as an industry leader, we're dedicated to playing a critical role in meeting the needs of a growing world. Because together, we're stronger and achieve more.
Force.
Yep, put it in the center, and knowing that Kelly Marnick will play a corner guard.
As he's trying to set up his 2.
Just because we're that, yeah, we get, if we, exactly. Halfway tight. Tight. Just stop.
Wade Ford with his delivery for Team
Can't go
Lyburn.
for weight.
And William asking for
A guard.
another guard
Yeah.
to protect that first rock
Can't
that he
go.
put in the forefront.
Can't go.
The life of a lead. I married a lead. I know
Good
what
job.
they're supposed to do most of the time.
Just wanted to
So
keep
the
moving.
positioning of that guard close to the rings, on the line between that red Marnock stone and the shot in the forefoot, removes the possibility of that red being run in.
Dean Smith throwing lead stones for Marnock. Little rub off.
He would have liked to have got a little ahead, cornered onto that stone. There's the opportunity for Marnock to play a straight bump or to bump and roll a little bit to the center line and sit 2 behind that center guard.
A little easier shot,
I
yeah.
was gonna say, yeah, like. Yep. All right, good throw here.
Yeah, if
Second stones for Lyburn now.
if Smith had been able to get it cornered on that yellow stone, they wouldn't have been able to move it without moving the yellow stone out of the forefoot.
Solid
Can't
board.
get that out with a stick of dynamite.
Solid board.
Hit and roll out to the
Good call,
12.
Willie.
Lyburn line 2.
He played a little
I
more
did
weight
solid
on that
board.
than
Only
I
was quite
anticipated he
controlled.
was going to play. He played
It also
much
didn't
more
make
the
much
pure
of a
hit
move,
than I
right?
had anticipated. More of a tap and roll behind the center, but certainly rolling open like that.
Yeah, it's the way to throw it in that spot.
Sets
the way to
up
throw
the
it,
2
that's
in
fine.
the
Not the
rings
soft,
and now brings the force into play.
Yep. Looking to take them both. Stuffs it.
Unfortunate there, he was hoping to hit it at least, roll
Ideally, we
it
want it
closer
to be
to the
just
one on the 12-foot circle
Quarter
now
rock
with
off center, right?
that side of the center line covered, remembering that there's
Like,
a
even with the
guard
high
out
right?
about here.
Yep.
The Lyburn strategy is to get one on the center line, touching the center line on the other, on the right-hand side of center line to really begin to solidify that point now as a possible steal.
Halfway.
So he's asking for the guard again.
Yes, he is, and he'd want it to be reasonably high.
Halfway.
Staying out there. Now it's starting to come. A little deeper than he wanted, maybe.
It is a bit deeper than he had hoped for. He got it to the line he wanted. He wanted it near or touching the center line, but he probably would have been liked to have been 4 or 5 feet shorter than that. There's an opportunity for 2 or 3 things to happen. One is he can spill both guards off, but he can also run the yellow through and take the rock out of the forefoot and roll to a corner guard position.
Second stone for Brandon Jorgensen. Clips that out.
A little bit of bad luck on that. He was neither fish nor fowl, to use an old expression. He either would have liked to have driven it past the back edge of the red, so it was driven right out of play, or he would have liked to have driven it straight back onto the one in the forefoot. But he ended up doing both and rolling that Liburn behind two guards.
Yeah. There's two guards. That's
even
right.
more solidly protected than it previously was.
Scott McDonald throwing for Team Liburn.
Close to the line.
Haven't laid a broom to it yet.
Whoa. Sorry, guys.
A little deeper than he wanted.
Come much deeper than he wanted. He's given Marnock the opportunity to play a little hit and roll and actually be in now behind 3 rocks. Again, as I say, there's a guard out about there.
Not room for 2, yeah.
Oh, turns out it's over here. I was offline a little bit.
So it is buried, but lots of room. That's pretty long guard.
It's accessible. It's probably almost dead behind that long guard. So from the hack, you'll be able to see just a little bit of it, and certainly the curl in the ice, you'll be able to come to it and roll to the left-hand side, still be in the 12-foot or in the 8-foot, and fully buried behind 3 rocks, but behind the tee line. So the Liburn team will have the opportunity to draw behind all that cover to the stone, even if he does roll there.
So here's Marnock's first on the way. Marnock throwing third stones. A little bit of a nick. Working hard to get it out of there.
There's just not much to say about that, except that it was a 0 out of 4 shot. He obviously needed to curl a little more. He had the weight he wanted because he wanted to get across the face of that rock and get that little bit of a roll to the left. But either iced wrong or a little hiccup in the delivery on that one, so he didn't get his shot, and there's a huge opportunity now for Liburn.
Killed it just a hair.
So McDonald trying to get that rock to settle high, higher than the last shot, obviously.
Whoa. No. Whoa. Take it right back then.
And again, a shot that needed to be high, up on that McMahon and Yates logo, or even biting the top of the 12-foot, but certainly way too deep into the range.
He got it on top of the wrong V in Viterra.
A little at the end to keep it straight.
So another opportunity for Marnock. Action going on one of the other sheets, I hear, Resby?
Well, yeah, but I can't quite see, so otherwise we'd give you a play-by-play and tell you the position of all 15 rocks in play on that.
15 rocks in play. That does sound like our Jugs Bonspiel kind of play.
I know.
How does that sort of thing happen at this level?
Sometimes it's deliberate. Sometimes you intend to play with rocks in play, and then as you tap and roll, they just simply don't get removed from play.
They just keep stacking up.
Other times it's just bad curling, so since we're not watching the game, we won't comment on which that is. So.
We'll assume it was meant to be. Kelly Marnock throwing his second stone in the third position. Skipper releases.
Same path as the previous. He needs to get more curl than he had on the first one. He wants to make contact on the stone that Scott McDonald left on the button and get a little bit of roll to the left to sit in front of
the previous thrown stone.
So it'll be behind cover with backing. It looks like a nose.
Again, he didn't curl up quite enough, but he's left himself in pretty good shape with that rock in the front of the button and 2 behind it.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky to get that out of there. He is lying shot stone, Marnock against 4 Liburn stones.
I think that makes it. Yep. Yep. You got it.
I'm hoping that I can get a big end at some point in the day so I can do the Vic Router count him up.
Count him up.
Yeah.
Remember, there's a guard right here.
Yep.
Just to the right of that Viterra rock on the logo at the top of the score sheet. But this rock is accessible.
William Liburn settling into the hack for his first. He's leading 3-1 here in the 4th end at the 2022 Viterra Championship in Selkirk, Manitoba. My name's Rick Brownlee, and I'm joined by Resby Coots on the telestrator, giving us the play-by-play.
Whoa! Whoa! Kennedy!
Weights up on this one a bit.
Never off.
He's just hoping to chip it out. Oh, I guess he was hoping to drive it between the 2 and the back of the 4-foot, which he did
very nicely.
to perfection.
Lying 5.
Sorry, I was just protecting a little bit with that one intern through in the first end.
No problem.
I just wanted to see something run.
So what are Marnock's options against this Texas Hold'em hand of 5
Well,
lying ahead?
now he's simply got to make a draw into the 4-foot and get either to the face of one of those 2 or a little bit cornered on the one on the left, so that if it is hit, it will be driven on, bounce off and take the one out of the back of the 4-foot. He's got to play with the backing now.
Bart Witherspoon with the stone. Throwing 4th stones for Marnock.
Weight's critical here. If he contacts and creates separation, he's going to leave an opportunity for a kill.
Coming in a little hot.
And what one would call just pure bad luck, he actually drew between those 2 in the back of the 4-foot and left the opportunity for Liburn to go to the top of the 4-foot circle and set up a very difficult draw.
Could throw that a dozen times and not be able to do that, eh?
Yeah, it happens, and it's very frustrating when it happens to you.
I agree. Yeah.
Good try by Bart Witherspoon.
Now
Liburn
if we're here, then he has something.
going to put a lot of pressure on Marnock with this shot.
It's your draw pass.
He wants to get to where he's just biting the front edge of the button to force Marnock to have to draw, Bart Witherspoon to have to draw to bite that corner of the button.
That is a tiny little piece of real estate to try and draw through here in the 4th end.
So this is the shot that I was talking about in the 3rd end when William Liburn wanted to touch the front of the button in order to get that feel. He was about 3 feet deep, or 2.5 when he went into the back of the 4-foot. He doesn't want to be back in the back of the 4-foot this time.
No.
He wants to be top 4-foot, bite the front edge of the button to force the draw. If he goes deep, he gives Bart Witherspoon the backing that he's going to need or would like to have for a draw.
So definitely not heavy. Even top 8 would be putting a lot of pressure on Marnock here. William Liburn.
Line's a hair tight.
Let's it go on the draw.
Line's good.
As Resby said, looking to put it top 4,
Line's good. Line's great.
top 8, worst case.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, line needs to curl. Yep. You're going the whole way, Kennedy. Just go. Just go. Touch center. Go. Touch center. Go.
Very nice. Good sweeping by the boys. Bring it top 8.
Yeah, a little bit lighter than he would have wanted to be, but in fact, because he's on the line that he's on, it's going to be a very difficult challenge for Witherspoon to make that draw to the corner of the button.
needs this to stop a steal of 2.
Liburn 6-2. They look at this. Whoops. We were warned about that.
Yep.
This hit and roll in here for 1.
Yep.
But there's also this hit for 2. And Marnick and Witherspoon will be looking at that. Witherspoon certainly has the wherewithal to make this hit. And the angles are very nice for the hit, the round the horn as they call it.
And the worst that can happen is they give up the 2 that they might not get if they don't make the draw anyway.
Well, that's exactly right. Hitting and jamming here is 1. Hitting and jamming here is 1. And this is 2.
Very nice. Waiting for Witherspoon to deliver his final stone of the 4th end.
As I said earlier, these are the shots that Bart Witherspoon excels at. He loves to throw the hits.
Likes a little mustard, rolls over, nicely done. Gets his 1, facing a lot of trouble in those waters. At the end of the 4th, Liburn is leading 3-2, and we'll have the hammer when we come back.
At Viterra, we believe in the power of connection. Our world-leading agriculture network connects producers and consumers to supply top-quality food ingredients each and every day. Our team takes great pride in working closely with farmers to help feed the world. It's something we've been doing for over 100 years. And as an industry leader, we're dedicated to playing a critical role in meeting the needs of a growing world. Because together, we're stronger and achieve more.
As long as you don't overthrow it, you're going to do something.
We're back live at the 2022 Viterra Championship. Viterra, helping farmers feed the world for over 100 years and a proud sponsor of the Viterra Championship. In Resby, we're in the 5th end now. Liburn has the lead and has the hammer, 3-2.
And Marnick has thrown that center guard as you would expect. I'm going to look at some of the other games just to let folks know what's going on. The game between Ryan Thompson from Morden, Riley Smith from the Assiniboine Memorial is tied at 3-all, playing the 5th end. The game between Brett Walter of Assiniboine, Jeff Stewart from Gladstone, I think it is 3-1 after, or again playing the 5th end. And Corey Chambers from Fort Garry has 5. He's playing former champion Mark Lukowicz. They're standing in front of the scoreboard. He has a 1, so it is a 5-1 for Corey Chambers. Mark Lukowicz, with the obvious exception of McEwen and Gunlickson, the 2 top seeds, Lukowicz is the only former champion, or let's say champion from earlier years in the field. Mark doesn't play all that much anymore, but still very competitive with this group of guys, and loves the challenge of coming back to the Viterra Championship to relive former glory and beat somebody that has aspirations and dreams.
And it's got to be a lot of fun for these teams to come into this championship and play against a Mark Lukowicz.
Oh, sure, and it's the reason why the Manitoba Championship continues to be a 32-team event, and obviously this year, because of the curling club conditions and all the rest of it, it's not the same event as when it if it would have been played in the Selkirk Arena. Guys get to play a guy like Mark Lukowicz, who
won this thing at one time, and or obviously McEwen, Gunlickson. They get to test themselves against the best. But it, as I say, the 32-team format continues to be popular in Manitoba because it gives the guys the opportunity to play in those elite arena conditions and test themselves and see if they can make it to the final 8. And often that's the objective that they'll say is their true objective. They realistically know that they probably aren't destined to go to the Brier, but they want that opportunity to play in the arena too. So the way I always describe it is that this first preliminary round, rather than thinking of it as part of the championship, then you think about it as the final round of qualifying. Formally we play an 8-team championship with a 32-team qualifying round played in the same venue. And if you can think about it in that context, it is an explanation and a justification, I suppose, both for the size of the field, but it keeps guys of this mid-range competitive level playing across the province. It keeps them involved in their curling clubs as executive members or volunteers and so on, where if they didn't have this opportunity to compete and to play at this level on the ice conditions they usually experience, they might step aside.
Would be a breeding ground for some juniors coming out and giving them an opportunity to find their chops against this level of competition.
Absolutely. You see a guy like Graham Freeman from Verdun who's playing with his 2 sons, and in his own right, that is a thrill for any father to play competitively with his 2 sons. But the older son has come through the junior system. The younger one still, Jace Freeman, still very competitive at the junior level. Mm-hmm. And the experience of playing here, mentored by Dad in the situation, but the experience of playing in the arena or in this championship setting, a very important part of his development.
All right, we're
with all that rambling on, the play has continued.
It has. I'm sure our viewers are well aware of what's going on here. We've got quite a bit going on up front, and one Marnock stone lying top 8 behind cover. So what's William Lyburn looking at here?
He's looking right now at trying to clear these 2 red rocks off the center line. Doesn't get quite the right, gives it through and takes the rock out of the 8-foot, but his primary objective is to try to clear the 2 red guards off the center line so that rock in the 8-foot is accessible for a later stone.
Drives it right through and stuffs it.
But got neither. He drove it through and jammed it right on the nose.
Didn't really change anything there. Just
well, except that the rock is now in the 12-foot instead of the 8, but
that's
the only thing that changed. The line is still the same. His delivered stone would have rolled away so that there isn't a guard in it. That hole is now wide open for a hit, and Marnock, with his first stone, will throw a guard, try to fill that hole.
The guard and send it back and get everything.
Marnock's throwing his first in the 5th end here, trailing 3-2 to Willie Lyburn.
And I guessed a little wrong. Rather than filling that hole, he's made the draw around all of it to the button and made it very, very well.
Yes, and stayed above the tee line. Critical. Here at the Viterra Championships, proudly brought to you by Manitoba Pork, an affordable powerhouse of nutrition.
3/4 high, guys.
Scott McDonald now throwing 3rd stones for Lyburn.
And they're looking to rip off a couple of guards. He hopes to throw the one across the rock in the front edge of the 12-foot and take the rock out of the 4. He again, just a little bad luck. He moved it, but he didn't remove it.
That had a little heat to it, that throw.
And there's an instance where William and will still be learning a bit about Scott McDonald's delivery, how he releases the rock, the kind of weight he likes to throw.
Oh, shit, I thought we had that.
And Scott, being new to the team, would he offer Any information on that, or would he just be doing what the skipper asked him?
They certainly they will have talked about how much weight do you like to throw, how what's your release like, and so on. But in the end, William will want to see it so that he purely understands it.
Right.
Kelly and Bart talked a little bit about a guard. They do lie these two, and they're looking at playing a tap.
The very delayed use of the corner guard.
Waiting on Marnock's second
I think looking at
shot.
a tap to try to bring that rock to about that position, leave the guard.
Right. And stay even to eliminate the double.
Again, and try to bring the steel or the force into play. Certainly don't want to get into the back of the forefoot to set up a double kill.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, what's the first move out of your hand when it like it?
Kelly Marnock out of the Carberry Curling Club.
And he's over curling. Ends up with a pure draw. A little shorter than he would have wanted. I don't dare suggest that he was trying the draw. I think he really was playing the tap, but it's worked out pretty well.
It has.
I think the red rock at the top's hurting
Top
us
of the
right
8
now.
foot, well behind that yellow guard.
And if we do learn later that it was a draw, I do assure you that I will apologize to him.
Can we ever stick the shooter? No, I don't think so. It'd be nice to hang it on the side. All right, so firmer peel.
Scott McDonald to throw his last stone in the 3rd position. And what's Lyburn asking of McDonald on this one, Resby?
I think they're throwing hit down the center line, a bit of heat. They probably can remove a couple of stones, maybe 3. But key is this first contact and make that double kill.
Nice.
Sorry, I didn't want to nut it.
So I think we're starting to learn that Mr. McDonald can throw with some weight, some up weight.
Thanks. Sorry, I just didn't want to nut it.
I think William will like seeing that, knowing that he has that as a weapon, that he does have that ability. That was
The silent peel.
That tool in the tool belt.
tool and pure up the center line.
Yep.
Bart Witherspoon will attempt to now make the draw better than they previously did. Try to get to the tee line in behind the cover on the right.
And he's seen the slide path, so they'll make their adjustments. And
Yeah, this
see
is
what-
now the same shot that Marnock made, but he wants it to be 4 feet deeper.
Right.
Like the draw or the hit and roll?
And it ended up being in just about the exact same spot.
It is a little bit to the left. It's not as wide open as the previous one was.
Right.
I threw the controller here in the first and it came up. Okay. Okay.
I think the other turn is this one. I don't know. The spot that.
What are Marnock and Witherspoon looking at now with your telestrator there, Resby?
Well, what Marnock and Witherspoon are looking at is the backs of the jackets of Lyburn and McDonald as they talk about their shot.
There you go.
But what they're looking at is this.
The hit and flop over
Hit
and roll under
in
cover.
and behind the cover.
Mm-hmm. You got to pay attention to the number of little rocks that are up on the scoreboard there, don't I?
That's actually one each, Rick. I changed teams earlier in the game. Oh, Lyburn will play the hit and roll, hoping to get the roll in behind cover. He'll leave Bart Witherspoon the opportunity to draw to the button behind cover and maybe get the steal, maybe get the force. But Lyburn faces 2 now, needs to get rid of 1, and if he can roll behind cover, he sets himself up for a possible 2.
Right on the button, nose hit, stays exactly where he was.
Another missed opportunity. William won't be happy about that. He did need to roll over into this area because that's where Marnik hopes to roll to.
So as I was saying last end, Marnik has the chance for a hit and flop in behind cover and put the pressure on Lyburn and force again.
Witherspoon's last rock of the end.
It's a nice shot by Witherspoon.
That's good. You got it.
Draw to the full 4. This is what you mentioned when...
This is the shot, and it was going this way. It was the third end when William had the chance to draw to the button. Drew,
a little deep.
It was his out turn, and it was going the other way, but it was to the button, drew into the back of the 4-foot circle. If he goes that deep this time, then he gives up the steal. So he needs to dial it back that little bit, let his sweepers carry it to the button.
Looking for the V in Viterra Championship with William Lyburn's last stone on the 5th end.
Line's good. Line always wins. Yes. Line's good. Line's really good. T-line. I think. T-line. Curl.
It's looking nice weight.
Really good judge, guys.
And he does have that weight down. 1 scored for Lyburn at the end of the 5. It's 4-2 for William Lyburn of the Granite over Kelly Marnock of Carberry. And we'll be back after the 5th end break.
And the locker room celebrations are already underway, and they're going to be Be a player. Bet with Manitoba Sportsbook. Play Now Sports.
Asham Curling Supply. Superior fit, comfort, and performance. Asham curling shoes are the best we've ever used.
Hi folks, I'm Arnold Asham, and our product is always satisfaction guaranteed for your money back.
Asham Curling Supply.
Best delivery of the day.
Stay. Can-Add Inn's Destination Centers are your home for hospitality, with 10 locations in Manitoba and 1 in North Dakota, featuring the finest in accommodations, food and beverage, entertainment, banquet and conference facilities, and so much more. For the best service and best value, your only stop is Can-Add Inns. Call today at 1-888-33-CAN-ADD or visit us right now at canaddinns.com.
Half a century and 20 stores after they opened their first store, McMunn & Yates is still in your neighborhood. Getting involved, supporting consumer and contractor alike. A community building, helping build communities. McMunn & Yates, make it better.
Why not? Just watch. Why not? Keep scrolling, I slide. Why not?
As a broadcaster and Hall of Fame football player, I'm constantly in the lab of life. For 15 years, my friends at Knott Auto Corp have been pioneers as well.
Why not?
Introducing Winnipeg Car Lab, custom car wraps, graphics, and auto services. Winnipeg, why not get in the lab?
you grow up in a small town, and in this part of the world, you basically learn how to curl real young. The kids and you know, even adults who didn't have a place to go because so many facilities were closed. So people started gravitating.
At Viterra, we believe in the power of connection. Our world-leading agriculture network connects producers and consumers to supply top-quality food ingredients each and every day. Our team takes great pride in working closely with farmers to help feed the world. It's something we've been doing for over 100 years. And as an industry leader, we're dedicated to playing a critical role in meeting the needs of a growing world. Because together, we're stronger than a machine tool.
Coming together, help awareness, community, showing support. Together we can come and work through it. We can work with our volunteers, help out in her community. I love her. I love her.
And the locker room celebrations are already underway, and they're...
Be a player. Bet with Manitoba Sportsbook. Play now sports. At Viterra, we believe in the power of connection. Our world-leading agriculture network connects producers and consumers to supply top-quality food ingredients each and every day. Our team takes great pride in working closely with farmers to help feed the world. It's something we've been doing for over 100 years. And as an industry leader, we're dedicated to playing a critical role in meeting the needs of a growing world. Because together, we're stronger than a machine tool.
Line's good. It'll run a hair quicker, Kennedy. Stay close. He's coming down ahead.
We are back live here at the Viterra Championship, 2022 Men's Curling Championship at Curl, Manitoba. My name is Rick Brownlee, and I'll be joined shortly by Resby Coots. Resby was out taking a few pictures. You can catch Resby at www.thecurler.com and get all sorts of information on the world of curling. And Resby, we're looking at 4-2 for Lyburn over Marnock, and Marnock has the hammer, of course, coming out of the fifth break.
Yep, 1-2-ender is the difference in the game so far. Lyburn made that real nice draw to the edge of the button with his final stone on the fifth.
Yep.
Consequently, Marnock with the hammer.
Oh, I'm on the wrong break. Right here, sorry.
There are some good shots made, but basically that's curling comes down to is capitalizing on the other team's errors and scoring your two when you can.
It really does. You try to score two. You try to force the other guy to score one when you don't have last rock. You try to score two when you do.
Halfway.
And of course, anytime you can steal when you don't have last rock is a bonus, probably as a result of a mistake on the part of the other team. Lyburn went early into the forfeit, as you'd expect.
On that pass, we haven't really thrown much at all.
Some center guard
something up here.
One guard in play, just off the center line outside the McMahon and Yates logo.
This end is shaping up to look like a blank, unless he can put a nice shot in behind.
He'll try to bury behind that. He's still got a couple more shots to go behind there.
Wants to stay above the tee line if he can.
Nice shot, well buried.
Very nice, yeah. So Lyburn wants to come right down on top and sit on top of that?
He does. The opportunity now to force Marnik to take a single point.
So we've seen McDonald has the ability to throw up weight. Now we get a chance to see what kind of touch he has. Drawing up the freeze.
Didn't curl up quite as much as he would have wanted. He would have wanted to be cornered on that red stone, so it can't be bumped and removed. But he stayed right on the center line, and
it looked like nice weight. Maybe
it was
a little bit
exactly
outside.
The weight he wanted. He wanted to be sitting right there, just maybe touch the red, maybe frozen to the corner of it. Marnik with his second stone of the end. So play that little draw tap, push it back into the back 4 foot, maybe into the 8 foot, and roll over. He'll have 2 behind the guard. Or at least that's his intent.
And it's on its way.
Didn't curl up enough, rubs it, back leaves the yellow shot stone now.
Promotes the yellow to shot. Yeah, that is not what he wanted, I'm sure.
Not what he wanted at all. It's just that little bit heavy. That back ring weight. He needed to have the weight just to push it back into the back of the 4 foot. Push it back about 2 feet. If he'd hit that one, he would have pushed it. Wouldn't have pushed it through the rings, but he would have pushed it back into the 12 foot. Opportunity here for Lyburn.
Skip stones here in the 6th end. 4-2 for Lyburn of the Granite over Kelly Marnock of Carberry. First of 2 coming from William Lyburn now. Seeing Scott McDonald holding the broom, the imports bouncing from one province to the other is becoming much more prevalent nowadays in curling, isn't it?
Well, I'm not sure they would want to use the word bouncing, but yeah, certainly the eligibility rules now for the Brier have been liberalized. There is a
import, a designated import who can be a person resident in another province. And there's also what is called a birthright rule, which is a person, in this instance, a person born in Manitoba, can elect to play as a Manitoban no matter where they live. So,
does that be Jennifer Jones as an example?
Well, that is certainly one. There's quite a few of them. And you can, in fact, have 4 people born in Manitoba who live in 4 different provinces. Wow. And they, because of birthright, they are Manitoba eligible. Or 3, and someone who wasn't born here plays as a designated import, or any combination.
Right. So 3 Manitobans that could live in Ontario, and 1 Ontarioan living in Manitoba, and that would be the import. Okay. I think I've got it figured
But
out.
we digress.
Yeah.
So with a pair of Marnock stones and one Liburn stone to come, Marnock is playing to the same shot that Marnock basically tapped the Liburn stone through from the front of the button to the back of the forefoot.
Bart Witherspoon throwing 4 stones for Marnock. Very nice.
Right now, he doesn't have anything off of this red one, does he?
I don't think so.
Like
Still
I think you
Liburn
do it anyway,
lying
so-
shot under cover, but 2 and 3
Aim right
are
for the crotch and just sit right
belonging
here.
to Marnock right now.
You almost want to hit.
What does
It's an
William
interesting
want to do?
setup, but it would appear that the attempt would be to
I was
hit
thinking-
with the hope that this would go here,
I think
and this
like
would
normal
go
to control because that
here, and leave the yellow here and the yellow here. And
kind of weight would you use to make that happen, do you think,
if you hit
Briscoe?
this one
I would
first,
think this would be
just
what,
sit right there.
was not a big weight
if they
hit,
throw a
but
double, you're going
certainly
here.
a hit, not a
If I
tap.
hit a
Mhm.
quarter,
Yep.
that's not moving anywhere, even if it's firm, right?
Right. Well, I mean, if you hit it a hair thick, it might. Oh, you know what? You're gonna get the spin up.
Should be fine, right?
I would say normal to firm. I don't think you need to chuck it.
There may be a question of what
Whatever you
happens
like.
with the left-hand red onto the yellow in the back 8-foot on the Viterra logo. But the primary
I think you can
objective
even
here will
afford
be to
less, 'cause if you
remove
happen
the
to hit
2
this
reds
first,
from
it's
the
not very
forefoot and try to get some
I think they can
separation
hold.
on the 2 yellows.
Whatever. Like,
I'm just throwing just for.
like what? Tell me what you like at the far end, though, and I
The
can move it.
2022 Viterra Championship, Dynasty Curling, proud partner of Curl Manitoba, and official uniform supplier of Curling Canada. Build your own dynasty. William Liburn settles in for his shot.
Just a slither more.
Okay.
Liburn's final shot at the end, I think he'll be trying to make contact on the yellow first, push it onto the red, and then roll onto the red, although they're so close together that roll is the wrong word.
Whoa! 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 Wade! Whoa! 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 Whoa!
Beauty, Willie.
Does get exactly what he was hoping for. He
Hit it a
pushed
hair
that
thin. Great shot.
Yellowstone that he contacted,
Sorry,
came
I was
off
just
the
trying to get my
red,
head around the angles
rolled
there
to
so
the
we didn't
back
spin
8-foot
something to a weird
on the
position.
center line.
Great throw.
Beautiful shot
Really
by
good throw,
Liburn.
guys.
Full marks on that one, maybe even a 5 out of 4 as he lies 3.
What options does
My 6 rock is definitely.
Team Marnock have here for Bart Witherspoon?
As I said,
Well, he
Jordan,
could
we'll
look
throw
at a
the
hit,
6 on the
but
hit, then
if he
5 on
played
the
nose hit, he might jam at the back. He might still be shot rock, but he is electing to draw.
Drawing against 3. Bart Witherspoon.
Heavy with mine, but it didn't get that finish. Like, this is way out there too. If he's got the right weight, he might have the right finish. Hard Scotty. Hard Scott.
Needs to bite the edge of the button. He's going to slide a little bit deep, and that comes off so quickly. There's no indication of which one scored. I'm just not sure, quite honestly.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out.
We'll find out when we see the scoreboard.
Yeah.
Going into the 7th, we'll be right back with the Viterra Championship.
He's almost got to be down at the far end on his shots right now.
Half a century and 20 stores after they opened their first store, McMunn and Yates is still in your neighborhood. Getting involved, supporting consumer and contractor alike. A community building, helping build communities. McMunn and Yates, make it better.
Steel point. Yeah.
We're back, and Kelly Marnock picked up the single. Hammer goes back to Lyburn, and he still has the lead.
About a 4-3 lead, thanks to one deuce on the scoreboard early in the game.
2.5.
Rick Brownlee joining you here with Resby Coots, bringing you the game between William Lyburn of the Granite and Kelly Marnock of Carberry here in the noon draw at the 2022 Viterra Championship.
Running right now. Off. Don't even look at it, Kennedy.
Marnock's initial draw stayed a couple of feet off center, as you can see, sitting on that Canadians logo. And
when we let go of the
William
the tee line,
tried to set a corner guard,
and it ran the duration
but it slid into the rings.
A little deep, so he can remove that because it's in the rings.
Exactly. He'll try to roll over behind the guard that he left to the right-hand side of the center line.
Okay. Yeah.
And rolls to the center.
Throw board.
High in the rings like this, William won't be the least bit unhappy with the idea of hitting and rolling behind, using Marnock's guard.
Good board.
He'll be behind cover and high in the rings.
Curl for a piece. Get her out. Okay.
Hits on the wrong side of it, but plan B, not too bad.
Got rid of it, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't straighten up a little bit, I think. I'm not.
Marnock's likely to be playing another high guard, a centerline guard.
Give him a chance to build something, yeah.
Try to get something he can get behind later.
They just didn't take it off on the last shot, and they'll probably keep it off for this shot until we get to where we were. So we have 26 seconds. That one we probably took 12, so. I'll keep an eye on it for you while you're throwing. So you don't...
Jorgensen down to the 4 foot.
A little deeper than he would have wanted to be. He's not perfectly buried, and he's certainly not in any way a guard. So
another opportunity for Lyburn if he can freeze above that.
Weight's great. Don't need to go.
Yeah, he'll be playing to it. Maybe tap it back a little bit, but he'll try to use Marnock's guard that's halfway out to the hog line. There on that Canadians logo.
Okay.
Definitely a little more weight to that one than he'd hoped for.
Okay.
Opens the door for Marnock. Wants one top.
Yeah, he can. He indicated it's okay if we go in the rings, but I think his real desire is to have that center line guard close to the rings.
Short guard above the 12. And as Brandon Jorgensen's guard settles in, ticks off the other guard.
Over curled more than he wanted, got that little rub. He's
the rub put it pretty much where he wanted it, didn't it?
Well, yeah, he wanted to be a little deeper than that because he's left William the double peel opportunity, the double kill them both. Probably the action on his shooter, he'll roll away, so there'll be nothing left on this line in front of the shot rock in the 4 foot.
Kennedy Bird chips one of them away, makes it go away. Looks like a few of our other games have wrapped up. If you notice a little more background noise, it's filling up a little bit in here in Selkirk Curling Club.
Yeah, that first victory, the Chambers team score 6-2 after 6. Not sure if they played the 7th and conceded. 7th isn't on the board, but Chambers over Lukowicz.
Good ones here. Have the 4 foot open on one side of the sheet. So
All right, our feature game today at the Viterra Championship is William Lyburn of the Granite versus Kelly Marnock of Carberry. Marnock throwing third rocks for his team, and his first is underway. That guard a little deeper like you asked for last time?
Yeah, that double now less possible. Still a possible double, but it's less. It's a little more extreme angle.
let's get them both.
So the question, is he playing a thin hit and roll across, or is he playing a slash double? But either way, he wants to get rid of both of them. Playing the outside, tried the slash, didn't quite make it, leaves that rock on the center line.
McDonald with a little more weight to try and get rid of both of them if he could.
Yep, he wanted to hit just a little less of that rock and
spill them both.
Would have spilled them both, probably, or could have come through and taken the rock out of the 4 foot as well.
Yeah. Darn it, I thought we were making it. Shit. Thought we were making it.
Second rod coming from Kelly Marnock, trailing William Lyburn by a score of 4-3 here in the 7th end at the Viterra Championship.
He'll be looking to place a second guard again. Trying to get it higher.
A little higher than he wanted, or
well,
do the job?
It is, because he needed to curl another foot or so he needed to come closer to the Canadiens logo to get there. He may have left this shot in the 4 foot completely accessible. The indication from William with that ice is that it is.
I'm going to keep the release positive. I think we can.
Especially with the weight that we've seen Scott
I was just going to say,
ability to play.
Yeah, we've seen this weight before from McDonald. He's quite comfortable with it, although this looks a little
more
less
controlled.
Yep.
Whoa!
Throwing the weight.
Yeah! Whoa! Right to it! Right to it! Whoa!
Curl past that center line guard. Hoping to get a hit and roll behind the outside, but curls a little too much.
A little too much.
In fact, he stays in that outside of the 12-foot circle.
Good brush.
Jorgensen worked hard to try and keep that on line and held the line well enough to spill the rock, but as you say, it curled a little bit more than they wanted.
Skip rocks to come now. Marnock will play hit and roll, hope to roll to the center behind one of those two guards.
And the first from Bart Witherspoon, throwing 4 stones for Team Marnock. Nicely done. Roll in behind cover.
Okay. You're about middle, Willie? Yeah. Okay.
Lyburn decisive about where he wanted to go with this.
That rock is sufficiently out to the wings. It's half in the 8 foot, so William will play draw behind that center line guard, full 8 foot into the top of the 4 foot circle, trying to score his second deuce of the game.
The veteran from the Granite settles in.
Early. Yes, line. Hard line.
And they jump on it quickly.
Really gotta go, guys.
Hard line.
Okay, okay.
Go, Kennedy, go.
Lane's good. Whoa.
Yes, you're going.
Whoa, not deep.
Yes, keep going.
Gotta curl.
Wait, go now. Go now. Go, go, go.
Come on.
Go. Go.
Hard.
Go, 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 go,
Hard,
go.
hard, 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 hard.
Great brush, boys.
Nice finish.
Nice shot.
Yeah,
You
he's
didn't wanna lose
just
it on
exactly
here.
what he wanted. He wanted to be fully behind that red center guard. He wanted to be in the top half of the 4-foot circle.
Well, they said it was light.
It looked like it moved early, right?
And that's why.
Was his brushers of beverage for that one, do you think, Resby?
They did a good job of getting that one there, yeah. And now Marnick, Witherspoon, looking at the straight nose run back.
It's a great spot because they make it perfect. You still have the 4-foot.
As I said earlier, Bart likes to throw this shot.
Working hard to keep it on that line. Oh, loses the shooter, but
spills it out.
Spills it out, yeah.
See enough?
Makes Liburn,
You like it? Go, sure.
Liburn take
Okay.
not a difficult shot, but he has to make the shot to
He's
blank
got to
the
get
end.
past that. There's a guard out there, further out than the Canadians logo, and but he'll have the opportunity to spill it out, blank the end, keep the hammer on the 8th end, which has not been paramount in his mind, but certainly in this situation, an added bonus to get last rock at the home end.
And why is it, Resby, that curlers prefer to score in the even ends?
Simply the fact that if you can control the even number ends, you're controlling the fact that you have last rock playing the 10th end. And you know, the guys at the level that these guys are playing at anticipate that the last shot coming home is going to win the game, and blanking 7 to have last rock in 8 and 10
and
is
away it goes.
Certainly the objective. Of course, the other team is doing its best not to let that happen. But
exactly. As we wrap up the 7th end, Liburn maintains the hammer and the lead 4-3 over Team Marnock of Carberry. We'll be back right after this.
Oh, here's. I was leaving.
If you grow up in a small town in this part of the world, you basically learn how to curl real young. Kids and even adults who didn't have a place to go because so many facilities were closed. So people started gravitating to a rink and coming out and skating, curling. It became a place to come every weekend for so many families. We would see upwards of 70 people coming and going, on a given Saturday or Sunday. I think it means a huge amount to so many people. It's an opportunity for friends, family, everybody to get together, have some fun.
Today's sponsor, of course, is Sunrise Credit Union, building a brighter future together. Resby, we're in the 8th end now. William Liburn of the Granite with the hammer and a 4-3 lead over Team Kelly Marnock of Carberry.
And again, Marnock throws that long center guard with his first rock. He's now wants to, for sure, force Liburn to take a point, but he'll also be looking at opportunities to steal here on the 8th end.
Hack weight. That's hack weight.
Yeah.
A little bit hot on that one.
Liburn
Right through the
front end
house.
has been having difficulty in these last 2 or 3 ends with that draw weight. They've been heavy on almost every rock that was drawn.
They'll have to figure that out soon as we have a close game at 4-3 score. Let's see if Marnock can take advantage of that.
If they hog it, do we ever just go around? Oh, they're not going to though. Never mind.
Just about handed it right back to them. Had to work hard to get that one over the hog.
Gets his second guard in play, and Liburn will, for the first time in their game, will play tick shot. Try to tick that rock off the center line. Can't remove it from play with this stone. But in truth, one of the things you'll be thinking is that these young front enders have been throwing that little bit extra weight on their draws. They're very close to the weight that you want on this tick shot, but he's over curled a bit. Push it to the tee line.
I just gave you tighter ice there, though.
Not necessarily a bad result. It sits it open and available to be hit.
So the only way that tick doesn't work is and gets put back in the place it was before is if the rock that you've ticked has hit the sideboards or gone.
That's right. If you remove it from play, it goes back. In this instance, though, I think if you were going to drive it into the ring or punch it into the rings, you'd want to push it on an angle much wider so that it's just out in the 12-foot and not really likely to come into play. Where that one got promoted to, it very much could be a factor in this end.
I think so, yeah.
Marnock lying 2.
The better call might be to run the yellow into it. Like this.
So they'll hit now. Remember, there are
about the yellow
5
one,
rocks. One has been thrown through the rings, and then there's a red guard, a yellow guard, and 2 red in the 8-foot. So
Liburn is calling to open things up now.
Yep. They'll try to run that yellow up the center line, maybe to remove 1 or 2 of the red rocks in the rings.
Kennedy Bird.
Curl! Whoa! Straight!
Can't be quite to the nose of it.
Attaboy.
He does make that run double kill. Wonderful shot.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Good try, Kennedy. Better luck next time.
Is that like the 3-pointer in basketball that you got to call the bank shot on that one, Risby?
No, he got the shot he called. That was, now he will have rolled as well a little off the center line. Not very far, but
that came up, what, like a third of a rock?
sticking there is secondary to the fact that he got the run double to remove both red stones from the rings.
Took care of business.
I agree, especially how straight it was in the 5th, 6th. Sorry?
Yeah. Marnock coming down now, working hard to bite the 12, full 12.
Oh, okay.
Time for Liburn to start peeling.
Yeah, and now he'll go to the high guard and try to slash it across the face of the Yellowstone and remove both guards. He can hit and roll away to the right. With the right angle, he can remove both guards.
Open things right up.
Almost.
Just about. Now fully buried.
I feel like feeling the yellow.
Bad luck there.
That was bad luck.
He made the contact, but pops it over to be the perfect guard on that red stone in the top 12-foot.
Couldn't have placed it better, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, if we come around and make noise on the one that they drew top 12, we're laughing. Yeah. Then they...
That's curling though, eh, Risby? It's a game of inches.
Yeah, it's just if he curled a quarter of an inch more, quarter of an inch less, he ends up fine. He might not have removed the yellow, but he certainly wouldn't have left the guard on it.
Kelly Marnock's first stone of the 8th end here. Team from Carberry looking to steal to try and tie it up.
Going to come deep into the 4-foot. But leaves them side by side, opportunity to run the yellow through to kill a pair.
Okay. Peel? Yep.
And as we've seen, McDonald likes to throw a little up weight.
Close. Curl. Whoa. Curl.
Comfortable with that. And gets one of them.
Key here, though, is that the guard has been removed and the shooter rolled away.
So it's wide open.
Whew. I don't slide much uglier than that. That's the good news. There might be one.
Kelly Marnock in the hack, throwing third stones for his team out of Carberry.
Well, with the guards removed and the Marnock stone high in the 12-foot circle, they're more looking now at a force than a steal.
Okay. Yeah. Or we try to flop behind it. I don't know. Okay.
Nice weight. Perhaps a foot or two deeper than he wanted.
Would have liked to have curled over a wee bit more and been a couple feet shorter. Scott McDonald will have the opportunity to play the double kill.
Yep, yep.
Yep! Whoa! Yep! Yep! Whoa!
And that's what happened. And he left his shooter biting the 12. And what does that leave Kelly Marnock's team now, Resby?
Well, they're now looking at probably another blank, but they're, what they'll attempt to do is see if they can't make something happen by hitting this one on the nose, see what Liburn does.
Mm-hmm. Skip stones for Team Marnock, Bart Witherspoon in the hack.
Do you ever?
No.
Okay.
Momentary consideration of going behind it, but no logic to that. Too many things could go wrong. The key being now just hit that, roll away, play for the blank, go to the 9th.
Yep.
Have the hammer have the lead. Why mess with it, right?
From in front with last rock, and this end should give you some comfort that things are going to go your way. You're not missing too much.
Mm-hmm.
Did go deep with that first draw at the end, but cleaned up with a run back double kill. So
Witherspoon to put it in to the rings
and try to go wide somewhere, maybe something we haven't thrown as much before.
Something out in a little more pebble.
Yeah, where are you guys?
And what he'll be looking for here is the hope that Liburn doesn't hit and roll out. It
hits and sticks.
Maybe hits and sticks like he did on the first end.
That's right, his first point. Just past the Viterra.
Just a hair more.
So he'll be playing for the blank, but again, it's one of those situations where if he does nose hit, he has scored on the even number end. He's up 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yes!
Liburn shot away.
Push! No.
Whoa! Whoa, 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 whoa. Jeez.
And he does nose hit.
So, 5-3 lead for Liburn heading into the 9th, but the hammer does go back to Kelly Marnock from Carberry, and we'll be right back for the 9th end.
That's why I was like, if we're doing that, going around the corner.
Why not? Just watch. Why not? Keep scrolling, I slide. Why not?
As a broadcaster and Hall of Fame football player, I'm constantly in the lab of life. For 15 years, my friends at Knott Auto Corp have been pioneers as well.
Why not?
Introducing Winnipeg Car Lab, custom car wraps, graphics, and auto services. Winnipeg, why not get in the lab?
Good shot.
In the afternoon draw, William Lyburn from the Granite versus Kelly Marnock from Carberry. Lyburn has the lead 5-3, but Marnock has the hammer as we play the 9th end.
Lyburn took a point on the 8th end to take the 2-point lead. Marnock with hammer, Lyburn with his first rock goes to the rings. Marnock with their first rock will play a corner guard.
And I made the assumption that perhaps William Lyburn didn't want to do that, but you're pointing out, Resby, that maybe that was his plan. He's perfectly happy with being up 2.
There's sort of 6 of one and half of the other. You hit and roll out, keep the hammer playing 9. Hit on the nose, you're up 2.
Tight guard. Yep.
And theoretically control the home end. So.
Right.
Now it's on Marnock. If Marnock
has the pressure on him, then
if he can blank, he's got the hammer coming home. But Lyburn's objective would be to force him to take a point, or to steal, of course, but more likely to force him to take a point, and then Lyburn would have hammer coming home.
It's going to over curl, easy. 3. Real. Yeah, weight's good.
Just short of the logo.
And lower scoring.
That's fine.
So we've only seen 1-2 out of these teams, I believe. So that works well in Lyburn's favor as well.
Absolutely. There's only been the 1 deuce in the entire game.
Seems like the weight's still running true. Like we haven't really lost anything just on the second corner.
But Team Marnock has something to say about that, so play the 9th end and see what happens.
In our other games, Brett Walter playing Jeff Stewart. They're tied 5-5, playing the 9th end. Ryan Thompson, Riley Smith. And I believe Smith is up to 5-3, playing the 9th end. Ryan Thompson standing in front of the scoreboard right now, so I'm not certain about that. But
I think we have to throw another one
Smith is up a couple of points.
We can't. Strike 3. That was his 3rd one. He wants to hit a.
Is this too hard to the board?
What about the center guard, Willie? High center.
I can't hear you.
Center guard.
What about it? Oh, throw one. Yeah, okay.
Scott McDonald wants the center guard.
What
Communicating that with Lyburn.
We will throw it down the ice.
Well, there are guards in play on both sides of the center line, and so that the draw path to get to the button and the 4-foot is impeded on both sides. But Lyburn does have a rock in the rings and a center guard on it, so logical the decision to try to play another guard.
And Bird delivers on that.
What about it? I'm surprised by this call.
You're in the 9th end of the Viterra Championship. And just a reminder that today's sponsor is Sunrise Credit Union, building a brighter future together. Brandon Jorgensen's stone on the way.
Went around the outside of the wide guard, halfway out to the rings.
Right.
Or out to the hog line.
Lyburn would like to sit on top of that, being behind the tee line.
14-2 hog to hogs, or about 14-5 to the tee. 35.
It'll slide here, guys.
How's line?
Line's perfect.
Kennedy Bird's shot on the way for Team Lyburn.
Go then. going the whole
Curling
way.
out of the mother club, the Granite.
Keep going. Keep going.
Following that same path, a little tighter to the guard.
Keep going. Come on.
Come to rest in the top 4 foot.
Go, 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 go.
Be real happy with that result.
Yep. Does that close that door on that side, Resby, or what options does Marnock
to a fair
have?
extent is if they follow and try to move that yellow rock back, they're moving it back to the backing and leave it as shot stone. So they're going to need to play tap, I think, on that guard, try to push it in on an angle behind the guards on the other side, or at least push it in and change the lines a little bit.
How far were you around the corner guard for? Like half a rock?
This would be Brendan Jorgensen, second for Team Lyburn, settling into the hack.
Second for Team Marnock.
Team Marnock, thank you. There's no trades in curling, is there, Resby? Not during in-game, anyway.
Can he get through the hole and miss the back red? I'm not sure.
So he was playing a hit through that port, but just rubbed the edge of the guard.
Did open it up a little bit, though, and rolled to the back of the 12.
Come in and make it.
Lyburn looking to set a guard to close that hole again, Resby?
Yeah, he's content now to
just off touching center when it's
go for the steal.
Steve's good, eh? Yeah.
Scott McDonald showing the light touch on the guard now.
Line's great. Line's really good. No. Line's really good. Doesn't need to curl, guys. Curl. No. Whoa.
Wants to bring this rock across the center line.
Whoa.
Fill that hole between the rock out there on the Winnipeg Movers logo and the center line yellow.
Yep. Nice line call by William.
Just the way that it was halfway, I'm like, I know it's going to walk as long as it doesn't need to curl. I heard whoa, so whoa and go aren't a good word. Scott and stop aren't.
No, it's hard not to cheat when you got the center line.
Right.
And you're like, Henry, you got to curl a little bit. They're like, no. I'm like, Henry, you should curl a little bit.
To the average non-curler like myself, Resby, this is looking like a lot of trouble starting to brew for Marnock.
Yeah, Marnock's got some problems here. He's got to decide, does he want to run the red or does he want to clear those two center guards? Still thinking a little bit if there's a way to bring that red rock in the back of the 4 foot into play, but more than that, he's thinking, how does he keep Lyburn from stealing?
They can't sit two. And it'll be open if they make it and miss the back one. So that's good.
This could be the live stream turning point of the game.
I mean, if they
not clear yet what he's thinking of.
Onto our yellow and tap it back and make the top topper. That's. I don't know.
One option is running this, and if it hits these, it rolls them all around.
I don't mind coming down right under our yellow if it's good. Otherwise, just keep guarding, I guess, eh?
But an option also is this run. Split the out and bring that red one into play.
His own stone back there. Danger of the jam on that.
Yeah, if he gets the wrong angle on this, he leaves 4 yellows.
Leave us access to the back one, or we're still going to be shot. Like if it didn't.
definitely a key point in the game.
No, I mean, if they notice us and make the yellow double, we play the same shot you played. Yeah.
So if they make the yellow double, we're not starting. Like,
No, I mean, like, I was thinking the run back onto shot rock.
Kelly Marnock out of Carberry.
Yeah.
Well, he's cleared the center line for the moment,
Yeah.
but he really would have, if he was going to hit and angle it back that way, he would have liked to get less of the first stone so he could move both of those center line guards.
Okay.
He's left Liburn team simply a repeat of the previous raw shot. Again, fill that hole in the between the red guard to the outside and the center line yellow guard.
Whoa.
Just doesn't want to set it up for a double the way he did that time.
Line's still good.
Either a little higher or a little deeper than Scott McDonald stopped on his previous rock.
Hard! Oh, it's the 6 rock.
Wrong side of the line, perhaps?
Didn't get the curl that he was looking for.
No, I know.
Straight and fast.
You know. I know. I didn't think of it either, Willie. That's on me.
So second stones for Kelly Marnock, throwing in the third position.
And with that guard not coming across the center line, the shot stone is wide open. And Marnock has nicely executed through the port and gets the rollover.
To lie 1, maybe 3.
Yeah, rolling here is pretty. Yeah, we're this is second. Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure where the third one is. But the red rock did roll too far, and the yellow rock in the top 12 foot is second stone.
Okay.
And wide open for Liburn to make a kill on this rock in the back of the 4 foot.
And tough to tell on those 2 rocks on the back of the 12 together there as to who's third and who's fourth. What do you think? Yellow always looks bigger to me.
There's something to that, actually. Liburn will be looking at a hit, try to roll a little bit behind and force a draw.
First stones for William Liburn out of the granite.
Whoa!
Here in the 9th end.
Whoa!
Up 5-3 on Team Marnock. Marnock with the hammer.
Hard! Hard, let her roll if you can.
Pretty much nose hit.
Would have preferred a bit of a roll in behind the other one?
Yeah, he's left the opportunity now for Marnock to play that same roll and get a little bit behind the 2 yellows on the right-hand side of center. Or if he rolls too far, he stops against the 2 in the back corner of the 12 foot, and either way he ends up shot rock.
I was waiting for it to just get to the spot where I knew we were by
But Kelly won't want to leave, Bart Witherspoon now throwing, won't want to leave that rock. He won't want a nose hit because it'll leave Liburn the same shot again.
And he's already seen it once. Yeah. Bart Witherspoon, first of his 2 rocks. A little more on the inside with a nice roll and finish.
And
very nice shot.
Very good roll.
I think we can get there.
Where?
Right here.
Biting the back of the button.
Just tease the top.
Fully buried.
With
It's got to be here then.
Yep. 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 You got it.
No, that's okay. Save the turtle.
Liburn goes wide. It's got to go around that guard. Remember, there is a guard right about there on that logo.
Yep.
Oop, that was pretty good aim, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Right on the top of Winnipeg moving.
So he's got to go around that, stop in the forefoot, and yet he doesn't want to curl too much or he leaves it right in the port again.
Close. Yep. Yep.
Last stone for William Liburn out of the granite.
Yep. You're going, guys. Whoa. Whoa. Yes. Whoa. Yes. Hard, Brad. Hard kick. Go, 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 go. Yes. Yes.
Oh, he
yes.
played a little tighter ice to play through the port to the forefoot circle.
A little bit of a rub.
A little rub stops. Top
Chance for
foot.
2 for Kelly Marnock. Bart Witherspoon throwing the last rock of the 9th end.
And he will have to go wide to go around that guard.
Needs full 8 foot.
Just needs full 8 foot for a deuce and a tie.
Right.
Just by myself.
Right. Okay, we got 1:48 and 2 timeouts. We got to be quick.
Witherspoon releases. That's way out there. No problem getting by the guard. And pulls in. Nicely done for his deuce. All tied up here. Going into the 10th end, Marnock 5, Liburn 5, and we'll be back with Liburn with the hammer.
I think there we almost had to be like back 8 and then.
And the locker room celebrations are already underway, and they're going to be all night long. Here's a team who struggled early on.
Be a player. Bet with Manitoba Sportsbook. Play Now Sports.
Back live here at the Viterra 2022 Curling Championship. 10th end action between William Liburn of the Granite, Kelly Marnock of Carberry. Rick Brownlee here calling the game for you with Resby Coots. And Resby, we couldn't ask for much better than a tie game going into the 10th.
No, this is the kind of game you want in a provincial curling championship. It's 2 good teams, 2 well-matched teams. The odd mistake, and teams have taken advantage of the mistakes, but overall a well-curled game and a championship caliber game. So Liburn stuck with that shot on the 8th end. We didn't know at the time whether it was deliberate or not, kind of assumed it wasn't, but he did stick. And Marnock took advantage of the fact that he was given last rock and scored that deuce to tie the game on 9. So
his first deuce of the game. That's certainly good timing on that one, and that's why we're all tied up here in the 10th end.
Throw Scott 6 rock.
Oh, yeah. In case you need the drive, so I keep it for a hit, but cool. All good.
So Marnock with a couple of center guards, and this is all part of the plan to try and force a steal here.
Yep, he's all out for the steal. He's got a pair of center guards to work with.
Throw where you need to. Little more. Little more. I'm waiting for it to hit the break point.
Whoa, whoa!
Okay.
Okay.
Kitchen had a little bit of Kiss Destroyer going on there in the background, but we seem to have taken care of that. So we're here at the Selkirk Curling Club for the Viterra Championship 2022.
Rick, 5-5. I mentioned this during the first game that they did. These are the first Manitoba Men's Curling Championship games to be played on a curling club ice since 1998. The last time. In the old days, and I guess 98 now, we can talk about those the old days.
Yeah, exactly.
In those times, the championship was played the first day. Each team played one of their games in a curling rink and one of them in the arena. The last time it happened was in Verdun in 1998. In 99, the decision was made to go exclusively into the arena. And that was about the time frame when the ability to make the professional kind of ice in arenas was being perfected.
Right.
And curling club ice was still a little iffy. Fair to say that arena ice making abilities have dragged curling club ice making abilities along with them, and a lot of curling club ice is now very, very fine. But this is the first time in 24 years, I guess, that we've played in a curling club, and only obviously due to the COVID conditions.
Truly is an art form, Resby. I mean, certainly the technology has made it easier, but you still have to have an actual ability to lay down ice for this quality caliber competition.
You do have to have the unique ability to understand how water freezes.
Right.
And we're blessed in Manitoba to have some of the best in the world, with Hans Worthwich working right now at the Olympics, Greg Owasko, his heir apparent, Matt Rankin, Mark Shurik, tremendous ice makers in Manitoba.
Excellent.
And Greg and Matt are both here, along with the likes of Dale Lott, who is also a fine ice maker, makes ice in the clubs here in the Interlake.
Yep.
Including, I believe, this club.
Well, there you go. And I believe we have a tree or two in our yard from Minerva Nurseries for Hans and Patty Withrich. And we can let Craig Baker know that Patty will send the check in the mail for that little advertisement.
That's for we just gave her,
yeah.
5-2.
Well, we're down to third stones, and we do have one guard, another one being placed. And Marnik has a rock in the rings, but this guard has either come too deep or not deep enough, and the opportunity to kill a pair exists. Maybe even kill a pair and scooch through into the top of the rings. Scooch is a technical word, right?
Yes.
What am I doing? What rock am I hitting first?
Okay, right here.
No. Okay. Half rock on the center, right?
No, quarter.
Okay.
Scott McDonald throwing with the initials SM, which probably could be Scooch Master. We'll see what he does.
Whoa! Okay.
Splits them nicely, opens it wide up.
Did hit the wrong side of the hole first, or the rock would have redirected in the other direction and taken that rock out of the forefoot as well. But certainly removing both guards and coming right through the rings was the primary objective. Get all the guards out of play.
And mission accomplished as Kelly Marnock throws his second stone. Looking to place that guard.
3/4 low. Yeah.
Might have over curled on him a little bit, but regardless, Lyburn is going after it.
You look behind Scott McDonald, you'll see the Lyburn team clock is down to 36 seconds. It's not an issue given that Lyburn team has taken neither of their timeouts, so time won't become an issue.
Just couldn't hit it.
But it does indicate that they've played close to the line in terms of the time allowed.
And perhaps chatted about options a little more than Team Marnock.
And again, that may be one of those things that Scott and William need to learn as they have a little more experience together.
Right.
When they need to talk, when they need to understand each other, and when they can understand each other from opposite ends of the ice.
Bart Witherspoon throwing his first stone.
But I would think when this one comes to rest, we'd see a timeout taken.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on the clock.
Just biting the 12, top 12. Just a reminder on some of our sponsors: Viterra, helping farmers feed the world for over 100 years and proud sponsor of the Viterra Championship. Dynasty Curling, proud partner of Curl Manitoba and the official uniform of supplier of Curling Canada. Build your own dynasty. And proudly brought to you by Manitoba Pork, an affordable powerhouse of nutrition.
Or do you want to peel the center or run it back?
And as predicted.
Timeout has been called, Risby.
There was a timeout taken.
There we're going to always have...
36 seconds on the clock for Liburn, a minute 20 and change for Marnock.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Liburn does have two 1-minute timeouts, and his first of 2 timeouts is his clock is running now. So this rock will be put in play, and the full 36 seconds will still be there for the second, for the last shot of the end, and they'll take another timeout. So they've effectively got almost 2 minutes left in the game.
Oh. Good time management then.
Oh, their clock is running again.
How long is left in the timeout?
And again, for us novice curlers, the clock stops once it releases from his hand.
That's right, does it? Well, actually, at the tee line. When the rock crosses the tee line, you'll see he's got 9 seconds left but it was retimed to 36, so. Oh, good.
Kennedy!
9 seconds left on the timeout clock, perhaps.
Yeah. No, just a little roll. That's good. That's good.
So Liburn makes the hit, sticks in the rings. Marnock has that biter in play.
I thought you did too. Just didn't do much.
And he'll look to go to the 4-foot behind that center line biter.
Straight draw rather than try and hit and roll under cover. Witherspoon had this shot in his pocket from the last end.
He's made that good draw on the previous end. He's had the good draw weight all game.
Final stone for Carberry's Bart Witherspoon, throwing 4th rocks for Team Kelly Marnock.
Now, over curls and rubs, he doesn't get the depth he needed.
Good game, guys. Good luck.
Gives up the steal without Liburn needing to use that last time on his clock.
Count them up at the end then. One more point for Liburn. They get the victory 6-5 over Team Marnock. Thank you for joining us for the 12 noon draw here. And don't forget to go on the 50/50 online raffle. Get your tickets at fundingchange.ca/Curl Manitoba and support curling in your province. The Viterra Championship. I'm Rick Brownlee. Thanks to Resby Coots for joining me today. And we'll see you for the 4 p.m. draw.
At Viterra, we believe in the power of connection. Our world-leading agriculture network connects producers and consumers to supply top-quality food ingredients each and every day. Our team takes great pride in working closely with farmers to help feed the world. It's something we've been doing for over 100 years. And as an industry leader, we're dedicated to playing a critical role in meeting the needs of a growing world. Because together, we're stronger and achieve more.